Arab News is a great newspaper. It's called Arab News, but it's local. It's indeed local and global Arab News.
50 years, it's quite a long time. They did a lot of achievement and they sealed it at the end with the 50 languages. And I want to congratulate Faisal and all of his team. I'm very proud, extremely proud to have such a publication that now it's really aligning with all technologies happening. So I'm extremely proud and I wish them all the best.
Arab News now among the Arab newspaper in general, so it is number one in English. So I wish for Arab News all the best in the future.
In today's day and age, there's no more emphasis or importance to have credibility for platforms like Arab News to reach the world with voices, with news, with insights.
I'm always impressed with your achievement, and I'm always also impressed with your energy, starting from your editor-in-chief and also your staff. I've seen you here, I've seen you in many places, and I'm always impressed.
Arab News has been a very instrumental and crucial a tool for the Arab world to project its image.
صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير تركي الفيصل، أصحاب السمو والمعالي، سعادة السفير ضياء الدين بامخرمة، سفير جيبوتي وعميد السلك الدبلوماسي في المملكة العربية السعودية، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معكم نور بنت أسامة نقلي، نائب رئيس تحرير صحيفة عرب نيوز، ويشرفني ويسعدني أن أقدم لكم الحفل الليلة الذي يقيمه عميد السفراء سعادة سفير دولة جيبوتي، احتفاءً بالذكرى 50 لصحيفتنا صحيفة عرب نيوز، وأحب أقول كمان صحيفتكم. هذه الأمسية حتلتقي بها الصحافة بالدبلوماسية وتجتمع بها جنسيات العالم في هذا القصر، قصر الثقافة، وباعتبار أن صحيفتنا أسست لتكون أول صحيفة سعودية باللغة الإنجليزية، اسمحوا لي أن أتحدث بها. Your Royal Highness Prince Turki Faisal, founder and chairman of the King Faisal Center for Research and Islamic Studies, Your Highnesses, Excellencies, and distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is truly an honor to be here with you tonight. My name is Noor Nugali. I am the Deputy Editor-in-Chief of Arab News. I have the honor of being asked here tonight by your very gracious host to be your Master of Ceremony. Tonight, we at Arab News are honored to be honored by the Diplomatic Corps on the occasion of our 50th anniversary. As we have just seen in the video earlier, Arab News has been with you through the thick and thin of it. There will be more of that when our Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Faisal Abbas, takes the stage later on. But first, allow me to introduce our wonderful host for the evening, a man who needs no introduction, especially here in the diplomatic quarter. His Excellency Ambassador Lia Bamakhrama.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Royal Highness, Prince Turki Faisal, Chairman of the King Faisal Center for Research and Islamic Studies, patron of the evening of this night. Your Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Maghlouth, Assistant Minister of Media. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, dear colleagues and friends who honored us tonight with your presence, welcome and thank you sincerely for accepting our invitation. Dear friend, Faisal Abbas, Editor-in-Chief of Arab News, Ms. Noor Nuqali, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of Arab News, esteemed members of Arab News team, ladies and gentlemen. Why are we honoring Arab News? It is a question that some have asked me, and perhaps others are still wondering. My answer, because Arab News has in recent years successfully kept pace with the digital and media transformation. It has invested in news, information, and events in multiple languages, not only to report them, but to transform them into a powerful diplomatic tool, thus creating a unique synergy between journalism and public diplomacy. Indeed, in our ever-changing digital world, media and diplomacy have become inseparable. Today, astute journalists understand that diplomacy is no longer the exclusive domain of ambassadors. It has become one of their daily tools, skillfully used to craft a responsible and impactful media narrative aimed at building bridges and fostering mutual understanding between nations. Likewise, the wise diplomat of today is one who masters the language of digital media and skillfully uses its tool to convey their message clearly and effectively to shape a successful form of public diplomacy. Arab News has excelled in this domain. It has made a qualitative leap in diplomatic communication and strengthened its relationship with the diplomatic corps in Riyadh. Riyadh, this flourishing city, which under the wise leadership of King Salman and the inspiring vision of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has become a global destination, a meeting point for world leaders, and truly a capital of capitals. And we as ambassadors take pride in being witnesses to this golden era. Arab News has also stood out in highlighting the major transformation taking place in the kingdom under Saudi Vision 2030. It has presented Saudi policies and directions in refined journalistic languages and addressed the world in multiple languages, English, French, Japanese, and Urdu. So much so that its publications have become a topic of discussion and appreciation within diplomatic circles. Your Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, allow me please to complete my speech in Arabic. عندما دعونا إلى هذه الاحتفالية وجه إلي سؤال بشكل مباشر من البعض: لماذا عرب نيوز؟ ولا زال بطبيعة الحال السؤال يجول في خواطر البعض الآخر. وقد كانت إجابتي ببساطة: لأن عرب نيوز صحيفة نجحت خلال السنوات الأخيرة في مواكبة التحول الإعلامي والرقمي، واستثمرت الخبر والمعلومة والحدث بلغات متعددة، ليس فقط لنقلها بل لتحويلها إلى أداة دبلوماسية فاعلة خلقت بذلك تمازجاً فريداً بين الصحافة والدبلوماسية العامة. ذلك أن الإعلام والدبلوماسية في عالمنا المتغير الذي تحكمه الرقمنة لم يعودا مجالين منفصلين، بل هما صنوان. الإعلامي الحصيف اليوم هو من يدرك أن الدبلوماسية لم تعد حكراً على السفراء، بل باتت من أدواته اليومية يوظفها بذكاء لصياغة خطاب إعلامي مسؤول ومؤثر يهدف إلى بناء الجسور وتعزيز التفاهم بين الشعوب. وبالمقابل أيضا الدبلوماسي الحصيف اليوم هو من يتقن لغة الإعلام الرقمي ويحسن توظيف أدواته لنقل رسالته بوضوح وفعالية، صانعا بذلك دبلوماسية شعبية ناجحة. وفي هذا السياق أستشهد بعبارة قالها خادم الحرمين الشريفين الملك سلمان بن عبد العزيز حفظه الله عن الإعلام بقوله: الإعلام الصادق شريك أساسي في التنمية وجسر للتواصل مع العالم. انتهت العبارة. وعرب نيوز نجحت في هذا المسار وحققت اختراقاً نوعياً على مستوى التواصل الدبلوماسي، وعززت علاقتها مع السلك الدبلوماسي المعتمد في الرياض. نعم، الرياض، هذه المدينة المزدهرة التي أصبحت في العهد الميمون لخادم الحرمين الشريفين الملك سلمان وولي العهد الملهم محمد بن سلمان قبلة للدنيا ومحجاً لقادة العالم وعاصمة للعواصم، ونحن كسفراء نعتز بأننا شهود على هذا العصر الذهبي. أصحاب السمو والمعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة، وفي ظل حضور معالي مساعد وزير الإعلام معنا الليلة وتشريفه الحفل نيابة عن معالي الوزير، لا يفوتني تهنئة معاليه ومن خلاله معالي وزير الإعلام وطاقم الوزارة وكل الإعلاميين في المملكة العربية السعودية بنجاح المنتدى السعودي للإعلام بنسخه المختلفة وما يحققه من مشاركات بارزة ومخرجات هامة. ونحن أيضاً السلك الدبلوماسي نشارك في جلسات حوارية متخصصة في خلال السنتين أو النسختين الأخيرتين بإدارة الإعلامي المثقف والمتميز حمود أبو طالب. وطالما نحن أيضاً في عام التأثير الإعلامي، فإني أستشهد بما سبق أن قاله صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير تركي الفيصل ذات يوم عن الإعلام: قلتم يا سمو الأمير: الكلمة أمانة والإعلام رسالة، ومن يجمع بين الأمانة والرسالة يصنع أثراً لا ينسى. وأنتم يا سمو الأمير صنعتم مآثر وآثار كثيرة لا تنسى في الحياة العامة، ومنها إنشاء عرب نيوز ودوركم فيها. كما أنكم يا سمو الأمير تمثلون قامة لا تعتز بها قيادة وشعب بلدكم فحسب، بل نحن جميعاً نعتز بها. نشكر لكم تشريفكم هذه المناسبة وهذا الحفل بكل كرم وتواضع من سموكم. وباسم السلك الدبلوماسي المعتمد في المملكة، يطيب لي أن أبارك لعرب نيوز ذكراها 50 وندعوها للاستمرار في أداء رسالتها النبيلة وعقبال الذكرى المئوية بإذن الله تعالى، والتي أشك في أننا نكون حاضرينها. On behalf of the Diplomatic Corps in Riyadh, I would like to congratulate Arab News on its 50th anniversary, a gesture of appreciation for its continued noble mission. أخيراً أود أن أشكر من أسهم في إخراج وإنجاح هذه المناسبة معنا. Finally, I wish to extend my profound appreciation to the esteemed entities whose valued contributions have greatly enriched this occasion. I mean the Diplomatic Quarter Office, مكتب حي السفارات, AMSA Hospitality, طيب and Bold Group for Souvenir, and the media who covered this event. Don't forget, of course, the team of Arab News and the staff of the Embassy of Djibouti, and of course the Saudi opera singer سوسن البهيتي التي مطربة أو مغنية الأوبرا السعودية سوسن البهيتي التي ستطربنا لاحقاً بصوتها الجميل. شكراً جزيلاً لمشاركتكم معنا هذه الأمسية، شكراً من الأعماق. Thank you for your kind attention and thank you for joining us tonight. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your kind words that held so much wisdom in it and much information about the rest of the evening. We appreciate it very much. I have been notified of two things, that no one's eating their starters. I hope you're enjoying it, so please go ahead. and the other that I have to smile more often. So I need you to smile so I can smile and we can have a lovely evening. Without further ado, I would like to take this moment and introduce tonight's honoree, someone who I've been working with for the past 10 years. Yes, 10 years. Not only is he my boss, but also an elder brother and a man known to all the ambassadors here through his weekly political columns, and to all our fellow journalists through his efforts into transforming Arab News into being a more digital and global platform. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Faisal Abbas, who has now completed 10 years at the job.
Your Royal Highness, Prince Turki, Highnesses, Excellencies, Your Excellency, Dr. Abdullah Al-Maghlouth, Assistant Minister of Media, esteemed ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, media leaders, and fellow journalists. It is a great privilege to be speaking in front of you tonight. And it is an absolute honor for Arab News to be honored by the Diplomatic Corps on the occasion of its 50th anniversary. As we have heard repeatedly so far this evening, diplomacy and journalism, although are very different professions, have and always will be intertwined, and very similar in many ways. Having said that, there are few people who understand how to align both worlds, and among them is definitely our host for the evening, the Dean of Diplomatic Corps, Dia Ba Makhrama, who through his personal touch, deep political understanding, and media savviness has truly redefined the term ambassador extraordinaire. Dia, you are not only a great representative and an advocate for your country, but I can personally testify as to how much you support, empower, and open doors, not just for your colleagues, the fellow ambassadors, but to many journalists as well. I first met Dia back in 2020. I remember very well we had originally planned to celebrate this occasion on the occasion of the 45th anniversary of Arab News, and naturally, we had to cancel our plans due to the coronavirus pandemic. As such, we had placed all our time, energy, and resources to launch a digital French edition. Naturally, we wanted to create hype around this new edition, and so the idea was to invite His Excellency the President of Djibouti to be the keynote speaker during the virtual launch event. Now, we knew it was ambitious, but at Arab News, we have a philosophy, and that philosophy is you always miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And if you don't ask, you don't get. Well, it took only one meeting with Ambassador Dia, and while I was not sure if our request was going to be accepted, what was most definite is that I had just met a gentleman and a scholar, and an acquaintance that I'm proud to say has turned into a great friend. Days later, Dia had come back to us with a positive response from the presidential palace. I thanked the ambassador wholeheartedly for what would be a great promotional boost for Arab News en français. And like a true diplomat, he responded, "No, Faisal, thank you for giving us an opportunity to promote our country." This is why I say we journalists and diplomats, in many ways, are two sides of the same coin. We too, as journalists, have a duty towards our countries, albeit we do it by reporting facts, battling misinformation, highlighting achievements, and pointing out to mishaps. And perhaps nobody knows this better than our guest of honor and keynote speaker for this evening, His Royal Highness Prince Turki Al-Faisal, who helped in the establishment of Arab News as Saudi Arabia's first English language newspaper back in 1975, with permission and direction of His late Majesty King Faisal, may God rest his soul. And one must admit, What a great vision His late Majesty must have had to foresee back then how important it was for us to communicate with others in their own language. I will leave it to His Royal Highness to tell the story in detail, but I will say this. Perhaps the lesson learned of the direction of our late King, the persistence of His Royal Highness and our founders, is that rather than continuously highlighting that the rest of the world does not understand our point of view, it is far better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And we at Arab News was and will always be that candle. And just like our commitment to enlightenment has been rock solid for the past 50 years, we pledge to remain honest to our values for the next 50. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the inspiration for the gift items you have on your tables as a souvenir of this very special occasion. Please don't open them now because the sound will be very disturbing. Now, Noor. Despite her many virtues, she insists to remind me how old I'm getting and how quickly time's passed since I started this job on, you got it right actually, 27 September 2016. As I enter my 10th year as editor-in-chief, I pledge to keep carrying the responsibility of building on the fantastic achievements of all my honorable predecessors, the editors-in-chief who came before me, and thank them for their contribution that helped bring Arab News to where it is today. I, of course, would like to thank our senior management, represented tonight by Saleh Dwais, our Chief Operating Officer. Our CEO, Jumana Al-Rashid, sends her regrets as she has been summoned to an important meeting, so she couldn't be with us. And last but not least, I would also like to thank our founders, the late Hisham Ali Hafid and Muhammad Ali Hafid. Mr. Muhammad Hafid couldn't be with us tonight, but we are delighted that he has delegated renowned economist and proudly say Arab News columnist Tal'at Hafid to represent the family this evening on this very special occasion. Tonight, I want to also commend the important role you do as diplomats. Your Excellencies, the job of a newspaper editor is to report on bad news. That is the nature of the beast. And it's really painful that looking back over the past 5 decades, estimates show that only between 33% and 40% of global armed conflicts have been resolved through diplomacy, peace deals, and negotiations. Without counting the final numbers of the victims of the horrific genocide that is happening currently in Gaza, an estimated 6 to 8 million people, both combatants and civilians, have died as a result of state-based conflicts, non-state-based conflicts, and one-sided violence. As per the UN, the number of forcibly displaced people at the end of 2024 reached a staggering 123 million people. There are estimates that show that wars have cost humanity $15 to $20 trillion over the past 5 decades. We can spend the whole evening calculating indirect costs, loss of opportunity and growth, impact on neighboring countries, and many indirect but other devastating consequences. As a journalist, I can only ask, what if? And I invite you to join me in asking what if. What if we as a humanity had taken a different path? What if we given peace a chance? While we might not be able to change the past, we can certainly do our best to shape the future. This is why I say that the work you do as diplomats couldn't be any more important. So hats off to you. And may all your efforts be fruitful no matter how difficult it seems. This is also why I could not be any prouder of being a Saudi. And given that our guest of honor is His Royal Highness Prince Turki, I would like to remind our esteemed audience of one of the most famous statements of the late King Faisal, may God rest his soul, who said in 1975 that Saudi Arabia will be a torch of light for humanity in the next 50 years. And as we are today witnessing unimaginable structural reforms taking place, reforms which have helped the kingdom diversify its economy. And we have seen non-oil revenues exceed oil revenues for the first time. We have seen our ever-expanding and enhanced service to pilgrims during the Hajj every year. Women empowerment and engagement exceeding 36% of the workforce, which, by the way, was the target for the year 2030. We are also seeing a boom in tourism, culture and entertainment, where the Ministry of Tourism has also achieved its target of 100 million tourists ahead of time. Equally important, though, we are seeing the kingdom use its religious, political, and economical might to help broker and negotiate deals all the way from Sudan, India, Pakistan, Ukraine, and Russia, and successfully lifting sanctions on the Syrian people. Last but not least, we've seen the recently successful two-state solution meeting held in New York, co-chaired between Saudi Arabia and France, in a bid to get the whole world to recognize a Palestinian state and correct a historical wrong. What I'm trying to say is the future can be bright, and we look forward to reporting on more of your diplomatic successes, both in your countries and ours. Now, before I leave you, you really didn't think you were going to come to an Arab News event and leave without an exclusive. Stand by for some breaking news.
Artificial intelligence. Many have warned us against it. Many have said that it will take away our jobs. Others argue it will create new and unimaginable horizons. The reality is, like any technology, it is both an opportunity and a threat. And it will impact all industries, including us in the newspaper business. Here at Arab News, we have been at the forefront of technology since our establishment in 1975. We have gone from the mechanical printing press to desktop publishing, and from a mere website in the year 2000 to AI-generated podcasts in 2025. And so, to mark our 50th anniversary, we are proud to announce that Arab News will be available in 50 languages in collaboration with our friends at Camp.ai, another regional success story that has gone global.
通过 Camp.ai 尖端的人工智能本地化和翻译工具，您很快就可以选择用你想要的语言阅读我们的内容。Tal como me ven ahora entregando este mensaje en múltiples idiomas, nuestra nueva función garantizará que la traducción sea precisa y refleje el tono, los modismos y los matices culturales. इसका मतलब है कि हमारी खबरें विचार और विश्लेषण 6.5 अरब से अधिक लोगों तक पहुंचने वाले हैं, जो दुनिया की 80% से भी ज्यादा आबादी है. Cela vient de notre conviction. On ne peut pas être la voix d'une région en mutation sans accepter de changer nous-mêmes.
You've heard it here first, but stay tuned for our official announcement on October 22nd at the FIPP World Media Congress in Madrid, where Arab News will demonstrate what it means when we say in Arabic that طموحنا عنان السماء.
صاحب السمو الملكي، ضيوفنا الكرام، معالي مساعد وزير الإعلام، قبل 50 عاماً وفي عهد المرحوم جلالة الملك فيصل وضع حجر الأساس لتكون عرب نيوز أول صحيفة سعودية ناطقة باللغة الإنجليزية. اليوم وفي عيدها ال50 تعلن عرب نيوز بأنها ستكون صوتاً للسعودية وللمنطقة ب50 لغة، لتصل بذلك إلى 6.5 مليار شخص أو أكثر من 80% من سكان العالم. شكراً لكم صاحب السمو، شكراً لكم سعادة السفير ضياء، شكراً لكم معالي مساعد وزير الإعلام الدكتور عبد الله المغلوث، شكراً لإدارة المجموعة السعودية للأبحاث والإعلام، شكراً لكم أيها الحضور الكريم، وأخيراً وليس آخراً، شكراً لفريق عرب نيوز، سواء الحاضرين معنا الليلة أو المتواجدين حول العالم. أنا محظوظ بكم، وكلنا فخر بكل كلمة حق تكتبوها. تصبحون على ألف خير.
Well, that's hard to follow. I'll try my best though. It truly is an honor for you all to be here and for you to see and witness history in the making. Truly 50 languages is nothing short of a miracle, but it's happening, and we're happy that you're here with us tonight. Thanks, Faisal, for always keeping up with surprises and making us super on our tippy toes and ensuring that we always are the top of our game. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this moment and really express how honored I am to be able to introduce a man who needs no introduction, a man who is a political heavyweight, one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done in my life. So thank you for giving me that more than one time, Your Highness. Tonight's keynote speech is going to be delivered by His Royal Highness Prince Turki Al-Faisal, and I'm pleased to invite him to come to the stage. He is the chairman of the King Faisal Research Center and also our former head of intelligence and former ambassador to both the United Kingdom and the United States, His Royal Highness Prince Turki Al-Faisal. His speech will be in Arabic. You can find the QR codes. It will be translated in English.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أيها السيدات والسادة، حضرت الليلة ومعي كلمتي بالعربية والإنجليزية، ولكن لأن مسعانا في تأسيس جريدة العرب نيوز كان مخاطبة الناطقين باللغة الإنجليزية، فاستسمحكم بأن أخاطبكم بتلك اللغة. To those who do not speak Arabic, I just said that I came here with the Arabic and English versions of my presentation, and that since Arab News was intentionally published in English to address those who spoke with English, I ask your permission to speak tonight in English. First of all, let me thank Ambassador Bamakrama for the words that he said about me, and our publisher, our editor, Faisal Abbas, and our sister Noor Nugali for what they said about me. And let me continue by saying that I extend all my thanks and gratitude to the people who make the Arab News what it is today and who have worked for the last 50 years to bring it to this position of extraordinary success and achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been for the last 50 years the moderate voice and the shining image of Saudi Arabia in the English language. And now, alas, I don't have AI on me to speak to you in all the 50 languages that we saw the Arab News addressing the rest of the world with from tonight on. This long march of this newspaper was not possible without the dedication of all individuals working to make it a success story. And that is why celebrating this dear personal occasion reminds me of the early days of thinking to publish this paper 50 years ago. I do remember that it was in 1974, after the Ramadan War and the oil embargo on the United States. Much of the Western media, especially in the United States, launched an information war on the kingdom because of its leading the oil embargo. The late Hisham Hafiz and his brother Muhammad Hafiz, may God rest the first one's soul and keep the other one in good health, brought the idea of publishing an English language newspaper to the late Sheikh Kamal Adham, who was, in addition to being an advisor to the late King Faisal, God rest their souls, was also director of the Foreign Liaison Bureau and adjunct to the Royal Diwan at the time. Hisham and I worked in the Bureau. It took us several months to put on paper the proposal to be presented to the late King Faisal. The newborn publication was to be published by a commercial company, requiring an exemption from the then established law of publications, which restricted newspaper issuance to government-designated boards of directors. The long-experienced Lebanese-Palestinian journalist Jihad al-Khazin was recruited to be its director, and he played an important role in guiding the newly born newspaper alongside its first Saudi editor, Ahmed Mohammed Mahmoud. King Faisal, God rest his soul, recognized the importance of the idea and approved it before his death in 1975. In 1978, its sister newspaper, Al-Sharq Al-Awsat, was published, and as they say, the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gulf region is witness nowadays to an aggressively treacherous attack by Israel on the sovereignty of Qatar. While negotiating with Qatar and Hamas to end the war in Gaza, it attacked the building in Qatar where it thought the leaders of Hamas were located. This attack is a reminder to all countries of the Gulf that their common security is under threat by a pariah state that gives no regard to any law or rule governing international relations. It is unfortunate that this attack happened while the United States has its biggest military base in the world in Qatar. This attack is an eye-opener to question the credibility and reliability of alliances when threats come from Israel. This dictates on our states to rethink the nature of threats and to rebuild their strategic policies to safeguard their security by all means to face such threats. Israel must not be allowed a free hand. As you all know, our Gulf region has been, throughout its history, fated to be under constant challenges due to its strategic location, to its vast natural resources and wealth, and to being part of the, alas, conflict-ridden Middle East. Regional and international competition and intervention are facts of its history, and therefore political and security challenges will always be looming on its horizon. During the past decades, the Gulf Cooperation Council succeeded through diplomacy, international alliances, soft power, and internal cohesion in preserving its security and stability. It has overcome major security challenges posed by the Iranian Revolution, the Iran-Iraq War, the invasion of Kuwait, the invasion of Iraq, and all ramifications of the protracted Arab-Israeli conflict. However, the new wars in the Middle East that we are witnessing today in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, Sudan, and the conflict over the Iranian nuclear issue pose a new set of immense challenges that are destabilizing our region and threatening its geographical integrity and social fabric. Against such regional and international perilous situations, luckily our Gulf countries, as they have succeeded in the past in weathering all the storms, they will, inshallah, weather this storm. The GCC countries have succeeded in building a model that conceives stable, peaceful, and prosperous states and societies within its larger troubled Middle East. The secret of this success, before everything else, is the stability of its political system and the stable process of succession in all of the countries of the GCC. The continuity of this political stability that was lacking in other countries of the region allowed its leaders and governments to concentrate on the needs of their societies by employing its wealth to raise the standard of living of its citizens and to preserve their domestic peace and security order. This could not have happened without the wisdom and moderation that these countries have adopted in managing their regional and international relations and in avoiding conflicts when possible. Our leaders in this region, with their visions for the future, their new development plans, and their economic reforms, aim to continue the policies that preserve stable and prosperous states and societies. You are all witness to the goals set forth in Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia and see its achievements in all aspects of the state and society. However, our success will not be realized fully without a stable and secure international and regional environment that allows all countries in the region to cooperate with goodwill in all fields and abandon old politics that destabilized the region for a long time and deprived many countries of stable and prosperous futures. Therefore, the GCC countries are in the position today to play a constructive role in leading the region toward peace and security with like-minded countries and to be a voice of wisdom in our troubled world. Alas, many challenges remain as outstanding dangers to the future of our region and the world that require GCC countries to sail their ships of state safely through troubled waters. Ladies and gentlemen, the GCC countries now, with the rest of the world, are in the middle of a transforming world. Uncertainty rules the international economic order. International institutions and international laws and norms are under constant threats and disregarded by states. Polarization of world politics, wars in Europe and the Middle East, and trade wars are but a reflection of such a situation. This situation is caused by the policies and drifts in relations between major great powers at the helm of the supposedly rule-based international order. The relative world peace and security that the world, and between quotation marks, enjoyed since the end of the Second World War with multilateralism, interdependent world economy, globalism, and human achievements during peacetime are all seriously under threat by this state of uncertainty. I believe that no region in our world has felt the impact of the state of international uncertainty more than the greater Middle East region. Who is to blame for this continued situation is an open question. However, while countries and leaders of the region bear a responsibility, the United States bears the biggest share of this responsibility because the region was for the last 8 decades part of an American international and regional security architecture. Since the Ramadan War, which ended with the US clearly at the helm of efforts to bring peace between Israel and its neighbors, alas, we see the United States descending from the role of honest broker to the role of the staunch ally of Israel. By invading Iraq, a major Arab country, it delivered it to Iran and to groups of sectarian, corrupted, and ideological forces, feeding the perception of the US retrenchment and abandonment of the region, added to the confusion about American commitment to regional peace and security and to the peace and security of its allies and friends. The blatant double standard practiced by the US in dealing with the Israeli occupation of Palestine and its recent genocidal war on Gaza and the West Bank are plainly witnessed not only by Arabs but by all peoples around the world. Naturally, allies and friends of the US in the region started to rethink and reconsider their future away from the Western dominant paradigm that dominated the geopolitics of the region during the last few decades. During all these developments, all GCC countries continued their commitments to have the best strategic partnerships with the United States. And they are still committed to such orientation with the hope that the United States will resume the role of honest broker. In order for President Trump to be the peacemaker as he wants to be, he should correct the past mistakes committed by the US to the peace and security of its friends and allies. However, without solving the injustice done to the Palestinian people, all achievements will be threatened. The most pressing issue is the Palestinian issue. For almost 8 decades, the Middle East has been going from one war to another, from one catastrophe to another, from one UN resolution to another, and justice is still elusive. Hypocrisy on the part of great powers that are at the helm of world order and the vanguards of its basic principles becomes crystal clear when it comes to Middle Eastern issues. The Palestinian issue is and will remain the main source of threat to regional peace and security. International failure in this respect is behind the cycle of wars that erupt every few years. The latest of this cycle of violence is the ongoing war on Gaza and the West Bank, and its destructive, long-lasting effect is a case at hand of the inaction of the UN Security Council to stop the killing and mass massacres in Gaza and the West Bank by the irresponsible use of the veto power. Abusing the veto power is a pattern by all powers when it comes to issues of peace and security in the Middle East. There were many regional and international initiatives and projects presented to solve this protracted conflict. Arab countries welcomed the march toward peace, which commenced in Madrid in 1991, with the hope of solving this conflict within the parameters of international norms and UN resolutions. All initiatives stopped at Israeli doors, and it is the only one to be blamed for their failure. The perpetuation of this conflict will continue to be a cause of threat to the security and stability of the region. The 7th of October 2023 attack on Israel by Hamas was a metaphor of the grand failure of the international community to settle this issue. Saudi Arabia is committed to finding a just and peaceful solution to this conflict. This commitment is not new. The Kingdom supported all international initiatives and all UN Security Council resolutions designed to solve this issue peacefully. It was also the originator of two major regional initiatives, the King Fahd 8-point peace proposal in 1981 and the King Abdullah Arab Peace Initiative of 2002. The two initiatives were adopted by all Arab states and presented to the world. Israel ignored the importance of such plans, and Israel now vocally declares that it will not allow a Palestinian state to exist. Saudi Arabia still believes in the viability of the Arab Peace Initiative as the fairest plan presented so far by all parties. However, it will continue to support any initiative that brings about a just solution accepted by the Palestinians. Out of this belief that the two-state solution is the only viable option, the Kingdom is leading with France the efforts to bring the rest of the world to recognize the Palestinian state and to convince those not yet convinced that peace in the Middle East rests on solving the outstanding issue justly. Among the many tropes faced by the Kingdom and France, and all countries that recognize Palestine as a state is that this would be a reward to Hamas. What a deceitful and evil assertion to deny Palestinian people their inalienable rights to their own state. It is the 80 years old Israeli colonial occupation of Palestine and denial of the Palestinian people their right to self-determination that rewards Hamas and other similar groups. Without the occupation, there will not be resistance to it. American officials should stop declaring such tropes. Thank you.
Your Royal Highness, thank you so much for your kind words and for your pearls of wisdom. I'm pretty sure all the reporters here and journalists can write a full article, so I expect to read one tomorrow, inshallah. I would like to ask to the stage His Excellency Ambassador Diyaba Makhrama, our Editor-in-Chief, and of course, Mr. Talat Hafiz to be honored, and Mr. Saleh Al-Duwais, please come to the stage. And before anything, our guest of honor, thank you so much, Dr. Abdullah Al-Maghlouth, please come to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, before going to our future, we have to honor our past, and right now that's exactly what we want to do. None of this would have happened without the vision, hard work, and professionalism of our founders, the Hafiz brothers, the late Hisham and his brother Ali Hafiz. Unfortunately, Muhammad Ali Hafiz regrets not being able to travel from Jeddah for health reasons. However, he has delegated a member of the family, Mr. Talat Hafiz, who is also an Arab news columnist, to collect this trophy on his behalf. Thank you, gentlemen.
Distinguished guests, I have the honor of presenting to you the representative of our founders, the Hafid family, Mr. Talat Hafid.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Royal Highness, Prince Turki Al-Faisal, Your Excellency, Dr. Abdullah Al-Maghlouth, Your Excellency, the Dean of the Ambassadors and Ambassador of Djibouti, my dear friend, Faisal Abbas, distinguished guest. I am honored, as they say in math, to the power 3 or 4, and I'll tell you why in a minute, to stand in front of a distinguished guest and to receive the honor on behalf of the co-founder, Muhammad Ali Hafid, though that's one. Secondly, I'm very glad also that the Arab News is a Saudi newspaper that's first launched in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with the approval of the late King Faisal, God rest his soul in peace, and the support of His Royal Highness Turki Faisal. Also, I'm very happy that I'm part of the Arab News family with the guidance, of course, of Faisal Abbas, being a columnist, economic columnist and analyst for 6 or 7 years since June 2016. Thank you, Faisal. It's a memorable 50th anniversary, and it's nice to hear the 50 language coming soon, and hopefully that we can meet in 50 years' time, if I'm around, and most of us around, so to celebrate 1 century of Arab News. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah, what a beautiful evening, surrounded by our lovely friends and family, I would say. And we couldn't have been more happier to celebrate this moment with you all. I would be amiss if I didn't take this opportunity and really recognize and thank a man who's very dear and near to my heart, my amazing father, who's the reason that I became a journalist at Arab News. He wasn't paying attention when I was talking. I'll tell you later about what I said. Thank you all for being here. We truly enjoy every single moment with you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. But before we do that, we must say that you're going to listen to some beautiful music by the first Saudi opera singer, Miss Sausan Bahiti. Thank you.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui perce sous sa bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme à quel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. quelque chose. Il est entré en mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi